Morning!
Doesn't sound like morning to the rest. Anyway, welcome to the island of Corregidor, and allow me to introduce myself. My name is Stella, and this is Jojit, right here. And before we begin, allow me also to begin running down the rules and regulations. Please make sure to put down your armrests at all times, those that are seated at the edge of the bus. No smoking inside the bus, courtesy for the non-smokers, and observe silence, courtesy for those that are listening. The tours of Corregidor are basically synchronized, so we're doing about 9 stops today. Each of the stops have their specific time limit, so just listen to your tour guide. And if you hear the bell ring as a warning, just you hear that bell, that's only one bell, which means bus number 1, because all the bells of the buses are sounding the same. So one ring is bus number 1, and when you hear that, that means your recess is over. You have to get back to your classroom right away. Is this clear, children? And wow, how lively! And of course, we have umbrellas here, which are free of use. Just return it after the war. After the tour. Okay? And of course, our light and sound show is scheduled at 10:20 this morning. Lunch will be served at 12 o'clock this afternoon. Is that okay? Good. You have no choice. This is a 3.2 square mile island, almost 600 hectares, and it is located right at the center of the mouth of Manila Bay, so it was strategically positioned to guard the entrance. And the peninsula that you see on your left side is Bataan Peninsula. Well, if you take a motorboat from here to there, it will only take you about 30 minutes. So this is closest, about 3 miles, but it does not belong to the province of Bataan. It belongs to Cavite. Okay? Now let's take a look at Bataan Peninsula. Of course, everybody knows when you're talking about Bataan, it reminds us about the infamous Death March. So are you all familiar with the Death March? Are you sure? Okay. The rounded structures that you see in Bataan is the oil refinery of Total, or oil terminal of Total. Well, the tower that you see on the south side of Bataan is a 600 megawatt coal power plant. Somewhere around the area is where you can find the 0 kilometer of the Death March. There were 4 0 kilometers of the Death March. One is in Mount Samat, which is extremely on that side, and the next one is over here, and the 2 others are over there to the south of Bataan. This is the North Access Road, which is an original road and reconstructed by my favorite president, President Corazon C. Aquino. May angal?
Oh.
And all the structures that you see over here, we have the electrical room, the generator room, we have the dressing room, the canteen. Why would there be a dressing room and canteen? Because this used to be the enlisted men's beach. Okay, let's go to the map right here for everyone to understand the inside of the map. Okay, we have Manila over here, Bataan on this side, and Cavite on the side, and Corregidor is right here. That's precisely the point why the Spaniards called it La Isla de Corregidor. Just our help, but your help. You wait for that announcement. Okay? Anyways, this is the drop zone A by the 503rd paratroopers. If you're a paratrooper, this is not a good area to drop because it's very small. And to think it was February, so it was windy at the time. Out of the 2,000 paratroopers, only 19 died during the drop. That helipad was used by President Clinton. He was here in 1994. Of course, he came along with his girlfriend.
Monica.
What are you talking about? Girlfriend to be his wife? Bad mind. Okay, let's take a look. No. Of course not. No. This one on your left side is the theater. 781 in capacity, and when they showed movies here, it was 6 months advanced before Manila. The last movie that was shown there was Gone with the Wind. Yeah, and the tickets were depending. If it's a premiere movie, they charge 25 centavos. If it's just an ordinary movie, it's 15 centavos at that time. All the people in the island, the Filipinos, were serving the military. The highest paid was a houseboy. He gets 40 pesos a month before. Free free shelter, free food. 40 pesos at that time, ma'am, was big. Okay? We'll do this later on, okay? Let's do this later on.
Okay.
That's going to be after lunch. Let's go to lunch. And this building, it had 8 of this. This used to be the bachelor's officer's quarters. That's where I used to hang out before. Okay? See those trees that we passed? That was donated by President Carter, Prince Albert of Monaco, and stop over here for a while. This is the Fort Mills headquarters. Guess what? General Douglas MacArthur was out here on December 29. He was watching the planes that go by him. He had no helmet. 2 Filipinos rushed to him immediately. 1 Filipino gave his helmet to MacArthur. The Japanese bomber dropped a 240mm bomb at the center. MacArthur fell on the ground. A shrapnel hit the helmet of MacArthur that saved his life. It's the Filipino that died instantly. His name was Lieutenant Domingo Adversario. The second floor had a chapel celebrating only 3 kinds of masses. 3. Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish with 1 altar. Which means, after Catholic Mass, 1 hour of Mass, it rotates. Okay, to Jewish Mass. After the Jewish Mass, it rotates again to Protestant Mass. Okay. Okay, so here, one more. This one. When MacArthur came to the island, he first asked General George Jones of the 503rd Paratroopers, he asked, "Are you sure there's no more Japanese here?" And Jones wasn't even sure. Remember I told you there were 42 Japanese, 20 surrendered and 22 were captured 11 months after the war. And Jones says, no more. But actually, these Japanese were watching the ceremonies of MacArthur. One of them wanted to assassinate MacArthur, but his comrade said, if you start fighting, they'll start looking for us. Why do you think they stood out 11 months? Okay? And this Japanese was the same man who pulls down the American flag, Mr. Urush. Okay. Let's go. You're now entering the highest point of the island, and you see a lighthouse. The lighthouse is one of the oldest, but the tower has been destroyed during the time war, so the lower portion remains original. You may climb the lighthouse later on when you have already the stamina, okay, to climb up. Okay, if you're looking for washroom, gentlemen, your washroom is at the end of the building on the left, while the women's comfort room or washroom is at the end of the right building. Okay? This is your lunch menu right here. So can we all synchronize our time? We are exactly at 12 o'clock, so I need you to be back here in the bus in 45 minutes. Because we need to cover the bus. Good Fire Corridor. They put a lot of smoke, like the clouds, that the defenders cannot see where their fighting is coming from. And here are the Americans writing books. And they credit a person called Photo Joe. Photo Joe sila ng Photo Joe. Sino ba si Photo Joe? You know who Photo Joe is? He's a Filipino that took an airplane just to take the pictures of the fortification of the Japanese. And that helped the people here. Guess who the Filipino is? You don't know? Captain Jesus Villamor. Now you understand why we have an Air Force called Villamor Air Base. Correct? Alright. So let me discuss this first before you go on. This center building was the control room. If you are wondering, how are they able to see their enemy, that the guns are lowered? Well, precisely the point. Because once they fired this, the enemy ship cannot see where the firing was coming from. If you read the caption over there, it says April to May, but we were attacked on December. Why did they use all our guns are safe. All guns were clear by MS Boss. This was ready for a war. There were no rockets in the places in the Philippines. The Isla Corregidor was known as a paradise, a military paradise. That depends on your rank. If you're enlisted, you stay here. Okay? If you're a Philippine scout somewhere else, if you enlisted, then you stay there. If you're a bachelor, then you stay somewhere else. Barracks over here before. It's all gone. Okay? Even here, before, a long time ago, they had a high school building for Filipinos. They had high school building for the Americans. Okay? Alright, so if this is for the Americans, that is for the It was destroyed during the time of the war, but it grew again. Okay? Okay, next. Yes, we have thousands of the Philippine macaque monkeys, 47 different species of birds, butterflies all around, and we have bears in this island as well. Dogs, cats. I forgot about the baseball. That baseball ground, there were 2 baseball grounds, okay? In 1935, a special guest who opened Rizal Coliseum